Hello and welcome to Hank Games Without Hank. In a stunning turn of events, it is raining in England. My name is John Green. I'm the manager of the Swindon Town Swoodly Poopers. Our two-star players are John Green and John Green. Sadly, John Green, nay Bennett, also known as Other John Green, is tired. You know, he was injured, and then we played him like crazy, ran him like a dog, and he's just exhausted. So, today we're starting D. McGoldrylocks alongside Bald John Green. Our referee is Scott McBeanie, who you'll remember was the heroic referee who chose not to give D. McGoldrylocks a red card in the Carling Cup final. Great referee. I love Scott McBeanie. He's my favorite. Today we're playing Everton in the Barclays Premier League. If we win this game, we should go to the top four. We have a game in hand over fourth place Chelsea. So if we win this game, we will potentially go to the top four. Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be amazing? I would certainly. I mean, who would have thought that the Swindon Town Swoodly Poopers would go to the top four? So today I'm going to talk to you about likability, and specifically the question of whether characters need to be likable or relatable in order for things to be good. This is something I find really interesting because I think it must be taught in a lot of schools or something, because I often read reviews of books, my books especially, but also books written by other people, that are like, I really liked this book, but the main character wasn't very relatable. And then that's seen as like a bad thing. And it's, this was a good book, but sadly, tragically, the main character was not very relatable because she had cancer and I don't. And I'm like, yeah, that's not necessarily bad. In fact, it's awesome that you don't have cancer. And it's not necessarily a problem if you don't have what's called direct identification with the characters you're reading about. The interesting thing is that this doesn't happen in other. Oh, D. McGoldrylocks! Oh, he was right there, but I believe that is an American. I believe that's an American keeper, isn't it? He certainly handled it like an American. Context is everything. So. That was too much. I put too much on it. I've got so much inside of me. I just want to kick it hard. Because we don't have this experience when we relate to other media. Let me give you an example. The television program Sherlock is wildly popular, and as it should be. It's a great TV show. By the way, in a previous episode of Hank Games, I repeatedly referred to Benedict Cumberbatch as Benjamin Cumberbatch. I would apologize, but I'm not going to apologize because it was so funny. It was so funny how mad you guys got at me. It was like I'd killed someone. Yes, so Benjamin Cumberbatch is a great actor. Just kidding. Benedict Cumberbatch is a great actor. And the character he plays is a fascinating character. I cannot identify with him for a variety of reasons, including I am able to form meaningful relationships with other people. I guess Sherlock is too. I am not able to figure out someone's entire life story based on whether or not they chew their fingernails and to have a bit of dust on their cuff. No one is able to directly identify with Sherlock Holmes, either the television show character or the original character. That is not a foul. When did it become a foul to walk up to someone, Christian side hook them, and go for the ball together? That's, I've always respected Scott McBeanie for the last 4 days, ever since he didn't give D. McGoldrylocks that red card. But that was just not a good call. All right. So obviously direct identification is not necessary for a book to be good, or else Sherlock Holmes wouldn't be good, right? Because no one can identify with him. And it's not, you don't read that book and think like, oh, I wish I could identify with him. Nor, by the way, is he unambiguously likable. One of the things that's so likable about him is that he's not very likable. That's one of the things that's kind of, in a perverse way, hopefully at least, this isn't a huge spoiler for The Fault in Our Stars. It's maybe a small spoiler, just as an FYI, but pretty small. That's why Peter Van Houten is I mean, at least hopefully, in my opinion, at least, like, kind of likable. He's terrible, but, like, there's something perversely enjoyable about someone who's so thoroughly, someone who just tells the absolute truth as they see it, because we rarely experience. Oh, Bald John Green, you've got to get up and get that in. You got to get it up and get it in. Context, friends. Context is everything. Bald John Green, redeem yourself! No! All right, I know. I got to just stop crossing it into the box with only one guy there. I'm playing like Liverpool played last season. So that is not, in my opinion at least, that is not the job of literature or any other media. And I don't know how we got it in our heads that the job of a book is that you can identify with it. I think like the central pleasure of reading for me is when I don't directly identify with characters, because that is when I'm able to live inside the mind of someone else and like really become aware that other people are fully human in the same way that I'm human. It's only when I can encounter through a novel someone who's different from me, and in many cases very different from me, that I'm able to sort of realize that by living inside of someone else's brain for a while, that like my brain is not the only brain. Oh, saved off the line. And that to me, that's what books do. It's not that they provide us with direct identification. I don't need books for direct identification. I know exactly what it's like to be myself. The pleasure of reading for me, you've got to get that down. That was all, you were wide open. Disappointing half from the Swoodly Poopers. We haven't been playing up to our potential for the last couple games. Really, I think we're still on a Carling Cup high. And it's hurt our performance in the league, and to a lesser extent in Europe. That is not a foul. If I can't wrap my knees around someone while touching the ball, then I don't even understand why we play this game. It seems like a big waste of time. Might as well just play volleyball or something. If I can't have the occasional little piece of contact. So I don't think that it's necessary for a character to be likable in order, or at least unambiguously, come on, Scott McBeanie, unambiguously, uncomplicatedly likable, in order for a book to be good. And in fact, like when I look at most of my favorite characters from fiction, they aren't, nothing. There's nothing unambiguously likable about Jay Gatsby, or even about Nick, for the record. I mean, talk about someone who sort of like lives blind to his privilege. And that's true, but that doesn't, same is true of Holden Caulfield, by the way. Like whenever kids are like, I don't like Holden Caulfield, I'm always like, well, yeah, of course you don't. He's not, like he's not supposed to be easy to like. That's part of the point. And, a reading experience can be very enjoyable without you having an unambiguously positive opinion of the main character. And I mean, I'm often asked about that in the context of my own work with both the characters of Margot in Paper Towns and Alaska in Looking for Alaska, that like, I mean, neither of those characters is supposed to be at least simply likable. I mean, I want them to be, I want the reader to feel, ideally toward the end of the book, at least empathetic toward those characters, and to feel, to be able to imagine what it's like to be them in a sympathetic way. But like, I don't at all want you to think like, oh, that's a good model for living. And certainly the choices that Margot makes are very, very different from the choices that I would make, or that I would encourage, someone I cared about to make. I would never, I think Margot makes pretty terrible choices, actually. So that was a great pass to Made of Win. But can he cross it? Not really. No, he really can't. He's not really a crosser. He's a defender. We've got to go to attacking. So I have to say, just generally, I don't agree with that whole notion that like something has to be likable, or someone has to be likable, a character has to be likable for a book to be fun. Many of the most fun times I've ever had reading were people who I didn't at least unambiguously like. Get it in the net. Come on, this is ridiculous. We are peppering their goal, but we are not even getting anything. We're not actually getting anything on the frame. Oh, and now we stopped the game. All right, we have 13 minutes to turn this around, and we need to do it right now. Now is the time. I don't want another 90th minute goal. It's worth nothing to me. Forward. No, forward in a way that doesn't involve passing to the blue guy. No unnecessary slide tackling. All right, we need to make some substitutions. This is ridiculous. D. McGoldilocks is coming out. I think he's tired anyway. And Stone Cold Steve with C. Austin is coming in. Oh, who else is coming out? Twice as Vice is coming out. And then Perry Perry's coming out. He's going to be replaced by... we don't have anybody who's not tired. Oh, that thing is starting to happen. Where, I forgot I can bring in other... There, I'm going to do that. And then maybe one size fits all up the left? No, that's crazy. That would be crazy. But I'm going to make him our captain. Out of substitutions? All right, if you say so. I trust you. All right, so here we go. So to me, the important thing is that, it's such a narrow and uncomplicated way of imagining whether a book is good or not, to be like the main character was likable or wasn't, or like I liked the main character or I didn't. I'm hopeful that we can reach sort of more complex ways of thinking about characters that don't rely just on that one metric for whether a book is good or even whether a character is well drawn. Like, you've got to consider the possibility that like you weren't supposed to like that person, or that you don't have to like that character in order to enjoy the book. And I do think that some of this in the end does come from television, because I think he was offside. Because I think that on television we have come to watch mostly characters who, if not, maybe they're cranks like House or something, but they are meant to be, we are meant to like them. They are meant to express some secret inside of us, some secret anger or frustration or whatever inside of us, that the whole rest of the world is so stupid and only we get it. And then House is supposed to stand in for that we. I don't like that. I don't think that's a good way of imagining the job of stories. Is it really going to be another 0-0 draw? It's disappointing. Sorry. Looks like it's going to be another 0-0 draw. We're still getting used to having other John Green back. We'll get there. Thanks for watching. Best wishes.